Picture yourself trying to navigate the world's most complicated bathroom situation while wearing what amounts to architectural engineering. You're trapped inside layers of fabric that could shelter a small family, your waist is squeezed into a corset that makes yoga breathing impossible, and you're surrounded by polite society who would absolutely faint if they knew the ingenious and sometimes shocking methods women use to handle nature's most urgent calls. Today we're diving deep into one of history's most fascinating mysteries, how Victorian women managed the most basic human needs while dressed like walking monuments to fashion. And trust me, the solutions they came up with will absolutely blow your mind. But before we journey back to this world of hidden chamber pots and secret bathroom strategies, I'd love to know where in the world you're watching from. Drop a comment below and let me know your country or city. I find it absolutely fascinating that we can connect across continents to explore these incredible historical mysteries together. And if you're enjoying these deep dives into history's most intriguing secrets, hit that subscribe button because we've got so many more mind-blowing stories to uncover. Now, let's transport ourselves back to an era where using the bathroom was essentially a full-contact sport, and women had to become masters of stealth and strategy just to answer nature's call. The Victorian woman's daily dress routine was like preparing for battle. She'd start with a thin linen shift. Think of it as the foundation layer that would protect her expensive outer garments from direct contact with her skin. Then came the corset, laced so tightly that many women actually had their lower ribs permanently reshaped. Over this went multiple petticoats, sometimes as many as 6 or 7 layers, each adding volume and shape. But the real engineering marvel was the crinoline, a cage-like structure made of steel hoops connected by fabric tapes. This contraption could extend up to 6 feet in diameter, making simple tasks like sitting down or walking through doorways require careful planning and precise maneuvering. Some of these structures were so large that special furniture had to be designed just to accommodate them. Living in this mobile architecture meant that Victorian women had to completely reimagine how they approached personal hygiene and bathroom needs. The most basic human functions became elaborate choreographed performances that required planning, assistance, and no small amount of creativity. The chamber pot became the central character in this daily drama. These weren't simple containers, they were carefully engineered solutions to complex problems. Women's chamber pots were specifically designed with oval shapes and curved interiors that could nestle properly between the layers of fabric and petticoats. The better quality ones came with tight-fitting lids, not just for odor control, but as a clear signal to household staff about their current status. In wealthy households, these essential items were hidden inside elegant furniture pieces. Chairs were designed with secret compartments, decorative cabinets concealed multiple pots, and elaborate wooden commodes disguised their true purpose behind beautiful craftsmanship. Servants moved through these grand homes like silent ninjas, checking, emptying, and maintaining these hidden bathroom systems throughout the day. The process itself required remarkable skill and coordination. A Victorian lady couldn't simply lift her skirts. We're talking about potentially 20 pounds of fabric, steel framework, and intricate lacework. Instead, she had to master a technique that was equal parts ballet and engineering. The key was positioning. The oval chamber pot would be carefully placed beneath the voluminous skirts, and through a combination of careful positioning and strategic fabric arrangement, the entire process could be completed without removing a single layer of clothing. At formal events, this became even more elaborate. Grand ballrooms and elegant homes featured special retiring rooms, essentially Victorian bathroom lounges, where ladies could handle their personal needs with proper assistance. These rooms were staffed with maids who functioned like pit crews, helping to position the multiple layers of fabric, ensuring proper placement of the chamber pot, and providing clean-up assistance afterward. The whole operation had to be completed with such discretion that other guests wouldn't even notice a lady had stepped away. These women were masters of maintaining composure and elegance while dealing with some seriously challenging logistics. But here's where things get really interesting, and this might shock you. For much of the Victorian era, many women didn't wear what we would recognize as underwear. The massive volume of petticoats and crinolines meant that traditional undergarments weren't considered necessary. The layers of fabric provided enough coverage and modesty, or so they thought. This changed dramatically when crinolines started causing public incidents. Picture this, a lady walking down a busy street when a strong gust of wind catches her enormous skirt and flips the entire structure upward, like an umbrella turning inside out. These embarrassing episodes became so common that society finally decided that perhaps some additional coverage might be wise. The solution was revolutionary for its time: split crotch drawers. These weren't solid undergarments like modern underwear, but rather two separate pant legs connected only at the waistband, with strategic openings in the middle. This design was pure genius. It provided modesty when needed, but the split construction meant that women could handle bathroom needs without having to remove or adjust their undergarments. The logistics of Victorian bathroom routines extended far beyond just the mechanics. Consider the cleaning supplies available at the time. Toilet paper as we know it didn't exist until very late in the Victorian period. Instead, people used whatever was available: old newspapers, catalogue pages, corn cobs, leaves, or pieces of soft cloth that could be washed and reused. For wealthy Victorian women, soft linen cloths were the preferred option. These could be laundered along with other household linens, and provided a more comfortable experience than the alternatives. However, even these had to be carefully managed and maintained by household staff. The monthly challenge of menstruation presented another layer of complexity to an already complicated system. Victorian women dealt with their periods using homemade cloth pads and a system called the tea bandage, essentially a cloth belt system that held absorbent materials in place. These materials ranged from soft rags and cotton to moss, sheep's wool, or whatever absorbent natural materials were available. Women had to change these makeshift pads frequently throughout the day, often 12 to 20 times during heavy flow days. All of this had to be managed beneath those enormous skirts, often without assistance, and always in complete silence. Society's expectations of feminine propriety meant that menstruation was never discussed openly, even among women. The washing and maintenance of Victorian clothing added another dimension to these challenges. Those elaborate dresses with their yards of fabric, intricate beadwork, and delicate materials couldn't be washed frequently. Many households only did major laundry twice a year during events called Great Wash Days. Instead, dresses were maintained through careful brushing, airing out, and the liberal application of powders designed to absorb odors and oils. The undergarments that actually came into contact with the body, the shifts, chemises, and later the split crotch drawers, were washed much more frequently. These washable layers served as protection for the expensive outer garments and were considered essential for maintaining hygiene beneath those rarely cleaned elaborate dresses. Victorian ingenuity extended to public facilities as well. The garde-robe system, inherited from medieval times, involved strategically placed openings in upper-story buildings that allowed waste to be disposed of directly onto the streets below. The famous warning cry, "Garde à l'eau," meaning "watch out for the water," gave pedestrians a chance to dodge whatever was being emptied from above. Chamber pot contents weren't always considered waste either. During certain periods, including various wars, government agents would actually collect urine because it could be processed into saltpeter, a crucial ingredient for making gunpowder. Your personal waste could literally help fuel military campaigns. The social aspects of Victorian bathroom culture were equally fascinating. Privacy as we understand it today simply didn't exist for most people. Families routinely used chamber pots in front of each other, and at social gatherings gentlemen would simply step into the garden to handle their needs among the flower beds. Despite all these challenges, Victorian women managed to maintain their reputations for grace and elegance. They developed systems, techniques, and social protocols that allowed them to navigate these daily challenges while upholding the strict standards of propriety that defined their era. The ingenuity required to manage basic human functions while wearing what amounted to portable architecture speaks to the incredible adaptability and resourcefulness of Victorian women. They created solutions that were practical, discreet, and effective, even if they seem shocking or amusing to our modern sensibilities. This glimpse into Victorian bathroom culture reveals so much about the era's values, social structures, and the incredible lengths people went to maintain appearances while dealing with universal human needs. It's a reminder that throughout history, people have always found ways to adapt to their circumstances, no matter how challenging or seemingly impossible they might appear. These women were pioneers in problem-solving, creating systems and techniques that allowed them to function in a world that seemed designed to make the most basic human activities as complicated as possible. What's particularly remarkable is how these elaborate rituals became so normalized that they were simply accepted as part of daily life. Victorian women developed an almost military-like precision in managing their clothing, their schedules, and their personal needs. They had to plan their entire day around the logistics of their wardrobe, calculating how long they could go without access to proper facilities, timing their fluid intake, and even coordinating with other women to share retiring rooms and assistance. The psychological resilience required to maintain dignity while dealing with these challenges cannot be overstated. Imagine the mental fortitude needed to attend a formal dinner party, engage in witty conversation, dance gracefully, and maintain perfect posture, all while managing the physical discomfort of a tightly laced corset, and the constant awareness that any bathroom emergency would require a complex logistical operation. Victorian women also developed their own secret networks of knowledge and support. Mothers taught daughters the intricate techniques required for managing their elaborate clothing systems. Servants became experts in the subtle art of assistance, knowing exactly how to help without drawing attention to what was happening. Female friends developed coded language and discreet signals for communicating bathroom needs at social events without breaching the strict rules of polite conversation. The economic impact of these clothing systems was enormous as well. Wealthy families employed teams of servants whose primary job was maintaining the complex wardrobe requirements of the household's women. Laundresses, ladies' maids, and seamstresses all specialized in different aspects of keeping these elaborate clothing systems functional. The amount of labor required just to keep one Victorian lady properly dressed and maintained was staggering. Interestingly, the inconvenience of these clothing systems may have actually contributed to some positive social changes. The difficulty of managing such elaborate dress encouraged wealthy women to spend more time at home or in controlled social environments, which inadvertently led to increased focus on domestic arts, education, and intellectual pursuits. Some historians argue that the impracticality of Victorian fashion actually pushed women toward more sedentary but intellectually engaging activities. The evolution away from these extreme fashion constraints didn't happen overnight. It took decades of gradual change, influenced by everything from bicycle riding becoming popular among women to the practical demands of World War I, which required women to take on more active roles in society. The enormous crinolines gradually gave way to bustles, which then evolved into more practical skirt designs that allowed for greater mobility and independence. Looking back at these elaborate systems, it's easy to see them as quaint historical curiosities, but they reveal something profound about human adaptability. Victorian women didn't just survive these challenges, they mastered them, creating elegant solutions to seemingly impossible problems. They developed techniques that allowed them to maintain their dignity, their health, and their social standing while navigating some of the most impractical clothing ever designed. The legacy of Victorian ingenuity extends far beyond bathroom logistics. These women pioneered approaches to problem-solving, discretion, and social coordination that influenced everything from fashion design to social etiquette, to the development of modern plumbing and sanitation systems. Their experiences directly contributed to the push for more practical clothing designs and better public health infrastructure. So the next time you effortlessly use a modern bathroom, slip into comfortable clothing, or handle any personal care routine with ease, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey that brought us from chamber pots and crinoline cages to the convenience we enjoy today. The Victorian women who navigated these daily challenges with grace and determination paved the way for the freedoms and conveniences we now take for granted. Their story reminds us that human innovation often comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes the greatest advances in convenience and comfort are born from the most inconvenient and uncomfortable situations. Victorian women transformed necessity into art, creating systems so sophisticated that they maintained elegance even in the most challenging circumstances. And that's the incredible hidden story of how Victorian women managed one of life's most basic needs while dressed like walking works of art. It's a testament to human creativity, resilience, and the lengths people will go to maintain dignity in any situation. What did you think of this journey into Victorian bathroom culture? Were you as amazed as I was by the ingenuity and complexity of these daily routines? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And remember to let me know where you're watching from. Connecting with viewers from around the world makes exploring these fascinating historical mysteries even more exciting. If you enjoyed diving deep into this hidden side of history, you'll definitely want to subscribe because we have so many more incredible stories waiting to be uncovered. From ancient beauty secrets that will shock you to medieval dining habits that will change how you think about food, we're constantly exploring the fascinating, weird, and wonderful aspects of how people lived throughout history. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey through time, and I'll see you in the next video where we'll uncover another amazing historical mystery that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about the past.